Who were the Nephilim? Were they angel-human hybrids, or a warning wrapped in metaphor? Can we rely on the Book of Enoch to understand these creatures? And were these primordial giants actually responsible for the flood in Genesis? It's dusk on the primeval plains. Thunder rumbles low and unnatural tension fills the air. The descendants of Adam and Eve occupied the still infant earth. Then, a shadow from the heavens approach. The Watchers, heavenly beings who became known as fallen angels, descended from heaven, enticed by the daughters of men. According to Genesis and the Book of Enoch, these Watchers mated with human women, either by force, coercion, or affection, we aren't sure. But we do know that from this unnatural union emerged powerful, terrifying offspring, the Nephilim. The sacred was mixed with the common, the heavenly with the earthly. Spirit was mixed and mingled with flesh, and the divine boundary was shattered and shred apart.
We're a team of creators seeking to glorify God through AI animation and storytelling. You can support us in our mission for free by going to aibible.com and signing up for our newsletter. As a thank you, you'll receive the first book of our AI illustrated Bible. Click the link in our description.
Who were these ancient giants? The Bible intentionally leaves some ambiguity for us. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them whom they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. The Bible calls them heroes, but were the Nephilim heroes in the modern sense? Not exactly. In the ancient context, hero meant king or warlord, someone who wielded power ruthlessly, who grasped dominion for themselves, who sought to subjugate instead of serve. The biblical story of the Nephilim is clear. It warns of seizing power and the inevitable corruption that follows in its wake. You see, just as Adam and Eve were enticed by the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, these fallen angels were enticed by the daughters of men. There's a common language in Genesis 3 and in Genesis 6. Just as Eve saw that the fruit was good for eating, so these angels, these fallen heavenly beings, saw that the daughters of men were good and sought to seize them. Both stories highlight rebellion against God's created order, but leading to profound chaos. The Nephilim were born from lust and a desire to assert autonomy against God's design. It is the fall of the Garden of Eden retold on a heavenly scale. So the deep messages here are obvious and profound, but is this historically accurate? Were there actually giants who ruled the earth before the flood of Noah? Scholars and theologians debate on two main interpretations of Genesis 6. The first view of the Nephilim is that the sons of God were righteous descendants of Seth, who married rebellious descendants of Cain, representing a moral lesson against marrying outside of your faith and being unequally yoked. This is an easy moral lesson. It's perfectly polished and packaged for Sunday school. But the second view, in the ancient consensus, is that the sons of God were literal angels, members of God's divine council, who rebelled, crossing forbidden boundaries and producing supernatural offspring with human women. Before dismissing the Nephilim as a bizarre notion, consider this. Nearly every ancient culture, from the Greeks, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, and the Norsemen, tells similar tales of demigods. What typically followed these ancient stories was usually some sort of global cataclysm, some sort of supernatural and devastating event that wiped out the earth. Could there be hidden truths in these widespread legends? Could there be an ancient thread leading us right to the Nephilim? The Nephilim become tangible symbols of rebellion, corruption, and spiritual darkness, marking humanity's descent into violence. The Nephilim ruled the ancient world, but it spiraled into brutality and corruption. Genesis describes God's sorrow and resolve when he saw the corruption of mankind. I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, for I regret that I have made them. Genesis 6:7. When we look at the ancient flood through the lens of the Nephilim, we see that God's judgment through the flood was not just punishment. It was not simply God being punitive for people behaving poorly. It was a divine reckoning against spiritual rebellion. It was a cosmic reset against chaos induced by fallen angels. The flood itself was an act of defense for the souls of humanity. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become. Every inclination of the human heart was evil. Genesis 6:5. The Book of Enoch gives us more insights. Though we will say that the Book of Enoch is not considered traditional Christian canon, it was respected by the apostles Peter and Jude, who actually referenced the Book of Enoch in their writings. Enoch vividly describes the Watcher's rebellion, teaching humanity war, greed, lust, and spiritual darkness. In 1 Enoch 10, God gives Gabriel orders. And to Gabriel said the Lord, "Go, proceed against the bastards, and destroy the children of fornication." 1 Enoch 10:9. Centuries later, Peter and Jude would reference this cosmic rebellion. This judgment teaches us one singular truth: no rebellion, earthly or heavenly, will escape God's notice. So let's connect this ancient tale to our hearts today and to the gospel. Jesus warned his disciples of this. Just as it was in the days of Noah, so also will it be in the days of the Son of Man. Luke 17:26. What characterized Noah's time? Rampant wickedness, spiritual confusion, violent rebellion against God, society spiraling into chaos. Does it sound familiar? Today, humanity again flirts with forces it doesn't fully understand. Spiritual darkness, violence, and confusion run rampant in our times. Yet, just as Noah's day, God still sees, acts, judges, and extends mercy. God dealt with the wickedness brought by the Nephilim. He sent the flood, judgment against sin, but Noah was protected in the ark. The beauty of Jesus Christ is that the cross is our ark. The cross is grace amidst chaos. Jesus doesn't promise escape from the storms, but safe passage through them through grace and salvation. Today, God's covenant mercy remains extended through Jesus Christ. the ultimate ark of salvation. He offers refuge from judgment, peace amidst chaos, and new beginnings after floods. Friends, will you step into this ark? Will you accept Jesus as the only true hero of humanity? Will you reject the rulers and the principalities of this world and embrace the one true King of heaven?
Thank you for supporting us. Click the link in our description to join our newsletter and receive our epic illustrated book of Genesis. Leave a comment on what you'd like to see next.